Hello again, it's Noob, and here we have a beautiful Chubb AVA or AVA or AVA, I don't know how you pronounce it, padlock. And this has a double bitted key, and what this does is it locates 10 wafers on the inside of this padlock to their correct positions. Now, I will be doing another video on the Chubb AVA and how it actually works, but essentially what you have is 10 wafers in a stack. When they are at the correct position, they are all drawn into the shear line by the action of the key, and that'll allow the core to turn. Now those wafers come in, well, essentially three variants. There's one which is a 1 to 5, so it's got one increment of length on one side and 5 on the other. A 3 to 3, which has 3 increments of length on one side, 3 on the other. And 2 to 4, which has 2 increments on the left and, well, 4 on the other. Now, you can flip those wafers, which are 1 to 5, to make it a 5 to 1. And the 2 to 4 to make it a 4 to 2. So that essentially gives you 5 different wafer variants. So 5 different wafer variants at 10 different positions. And they can be any wafer in any position is, I think it's 5 to the power 10, which is close to 10 million different key combinations. And the bitting on these can be really extreme. Just look at that. So I picked one of these recently, not this padlock actually, it was a cam lock, and the cam locks don't have the 1 to 5 wafer. So if you look at the cam lock key and you look at the padlock key, you'll see that the padlock key is longer, it's got one extra wafer, and the cam lock only has either a 3 to 3, a 4 to 2, or a 2 to 4 orientation on the wafers, which actually means that you have about 20,000 key combinations as opposed to 10 million. It makes a huge difference having 2 extra wafer orientations and an extra wafer. So, what else to think about? Well, unlike the cam locks, these locks also have false gates, have false notches on those wafers. I think combined with the extreme bitting on these keys, and the fact that there are false notches, and the fact that you don't really get much feedback when you get a set and telling between manually a true and a false gate, plus tensioning this, I think that these padlocks are virtually, I'm hesitant here, virtually unpickable without a tool like this. I've never seen it done. I'd love to see it done, but I think that it's going to be extremely rare to see one of these picked manually. Anyway, so I do have one of these tools. This is a GJ Locks. Well, it's a pick and decoder, but you have to use it like a precision instrument. You're trying to read the movement of the wafers within their position. So whether it's in a true gate or a false gate or overset or underset. So what you're trying to do is just read to see whether you get an increment of a side-to-side movement, if you like, of 6 points on the rotation scale for a true gate. And you've got to keep picking your way through all of those wafers until you get a set. So, like I said, there'll be another follow-up video on how these AVA locks work. It's quite complicated. Please go check out my previous video on the bullet cam lock, which is a 9 wafer lock. Now this is the 10 wafer with the false gates. Let's get on with the picking, and yeah, see you in a second. So we are in the vise. Here is that beautiful double bitted key. Make sure I get it the right way up. Yeah, got it. And it just works so smoothly, this lock. Almost feels like it's new, or at least not that heavily used. So now there are 10 wafers inside this one. To tension all of them, you just need to pick the last wafer, so wafer 10. To do that, of course, you need some drive tips for this 2-in-1 tool, and they come in all the varieties the wafers do. So we have a 2 increment to 4 increment tip, which could equally be the 4 to 2 depending on the orientation of that last wafer. We then have the 3 and 3, which actually is the same both ways up, so we don't really worry about that one. And then we have the 1 to 5 or 5 to 1. Now, I've been through all of those, starting with this one, which is actually lucky because it is the right tip. You can tell that because in the right orientation, when you turn the drive and just try to pick a couple, all the levers at every position, they all drag, they're all binding. So this is the right tip. So let's compare it to the key. And yep, you can see that it's an exact overlay of that last position, which means it must be right. Good. You can see that we're on position 9, which means that the pick tip is on 9, the last drive tip is on 10. And what we're going to do is go in to the lock, and this might take a few passes. Gonna just move all the wafers to the left to begin with. Back to beginning. Turn, so you not any further, just as far as it goes, and just hold it there central. And we're going to just test how much movement we have at each position, and that isn't feeling like that's about 4 or 5 positions. That isn't right, so just going to try and advance that on. There we go, just move that on a little bit, and let's try that now. Oh, that's far more movement. So that's that's at least 6 on that, so I'm gonna keep it there. Okay, next one. Just trying to get onto the next wafer. There we go. This is obviously 8, that was 9, and let's just have a look at that. And that feels pretty good actually. I'm going to leave that. That's definitely a movement of 6 increments. So I'm looking for how much this is rotating by. Next one. Not that great, about 5. Okay, move it on if I can. I think I've just moved it, just nudged it a little bit. And that's, wow, way better, way better. Okay, next one. We are looking for, again, a good movement. And, oh yeah, just moved it on, and that is nice and free. We've got just over 6. I'm going to take that. Get on to the next one. No, not much movement there. Can I move it on a little bit? Okay, that's not too bad. I'm going to keep it there. 4 to 2. Yeah, it's exactly 6. Okay, I'll take that. That feels about 6-2. That's good. It's about 5. Not happy with that. That's on. This is wafer 3. Move it on if I can. Yeah, that's much better. A lot looser. That's about 2 to 5. So -2 if you like to 5. That's definitely 6. That's good. No, it's not quite right there. Okay, that's good. So what I'm doing is, if it's because they're all over to the left, I'm moving them all the way to the right, or moving them to the right to see whether they loosen up, and I get an increment of at least 4. And again, I'm not happy with that. It's not fully 6, so just kind of move it on. That's better, much better. Right, so I'm happy with wafer 1. Got nice movement to at least 6 increments. Same with 2. Now for 3. Yeah, happy with that. Nice movement. Same with 4. 5 now feels fine. 6, no. Ah, that's better. That's nice. Can get to 7, somehow wiggle. Oh, they went past 7. 7. 7. 8 and 9. They're just about going back through, and if it feels like they're all about there, so sometimes it's just about wiggling each of these in turn to make sure that they can get a bit sticky is all I'm saying, and it can just be worth going through and just going side to side on these. And just keep going through, just wiggling side to side. Don't give up, because if it feels like it's almost there, and it does, there's a good movement on all these, then it's usually just the fact that there's just something sticking. And there we go, I got it. And that's all it is. It's just that you get that feel for it. They are right, they do have a rotation increment of 6 positions, which indicates that it's in a true gate. And you think, well, why isn't it opening? Why isn't it opening? And actually, just calm down. Just go side to side on each one of these. They're not quite set. You're just hung up a little bit. And now, if I remove this from the vise, there we go. We have an open. So, even with the right tool, this is not an easy pick. It's got false gates. It's got 10 wafers. And it can get hung up and a bit sticky on the inside as well, which does make it a unique challenge. I mean, that's why these are sort of good fun, if a bit frustrating picks. Even when you sort of have them open, then they don't necessarily open. You do just need to keep wiggling through those wafers, side to side, side to side, just trying to settle it in to its true position. And then you get an open. Well, hope you found that interesting. I enjoyed picking that, even if it was a bit of a challenge, and I'll see you all next time.